All right, jumping right in. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the world of GRAS.
So GRAS, yeah, GRAS, which is generally recognized as safe,
Right.
a designation that really plays a huge role in what we eat, what we drink, and the medications that we take.
Absolutely.
You might not even realize it, but
It's everywhere.
GRAS is everywhere. So think about it, especially in a market that's just overflowing with all these products making, all these crazy claims,
Right.
especially those natural ones.
Especially the natural ones.
Yeah, how do you know what's truly safe? That's what we're going to uncover today.
Yeah, and I think it's so fascinating how much we kind of just take for granted when it comes to safety,
Well,
or the things that we consume.
Yeah.
Right. And the GRAS designation is really like the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It allows certain substances to bypass the full FDA approval process for use in food and drugs because they're already widely considered safe. So that means if something has the GRAS stamp of approval, we can trust that it's been, kind of thoroughly vetted and looked at.
Well, not quite.
Oh, yeah.
You see, the concept of general recognition of safety is really where things get interesting.
Okay.
It's not about like one study or just like a quick check.
Right.
It's about like a whole body of evidence built up over time.
Oh.
Think of it like a historical record
Right.
combined with scientific consensus.
So it's not just about rigorous testing in the lab, but it's also about how these substances have been used and understood historically.
Exactly. A substance might gain GRS status because it's been safely used in food for generations.
Right.
Even if it hasn't undergone the same like clinical trials as a new drug.
Oh, so it's a different pathway to demonstrating safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So who actually decides what gets that GRAS designation? Is it the FDA who has that final say?
So this is where it gets a little more complex. You might be surprised to learn that it's actually the manufacturers,
Oh, wow.
not the FDA, who initially determine the GRAS status
Really?
for their ingredients.
Yeah.
They're responsible for gathering the evidence and making the case for why their substance should be considered safe.
Hold on. So companies get to decide for themselves if their ingredients are safe.
Right.
That seems a little bit like a fox guarding the hen house situation, doesn't it?
Well, it's a valid concern, right?
Yeah.
There are definitely checks and balances in place, though.
Okay.
While manufacturers make that initial GRAS determination,
Right.
they can choose to notify the FDA,
Right.
and they can submit their evidence for review.
Oh, okay.
So that adds a layer of scrutiny,
Gotcha.
but it's not a mandatory step.
Okay, so there's an option for FDA oversight,
Right,
but it's not actually a requirement.
right.
That definitely raises some questions about how consistent that whole process is. Does this apply to all substances used in food and drugs?
Well, it's important to differentiate GRS
Okay.
from other categories,
Right.
like nutraceuticals
Mhm.
and approved pharmaceutical ingredients, which are also called APIs.
Oh.
So while a GRS substance can be used in both foods and drugs,
Right.
nutraceuticals are a different beast altogether.
You hear the word nutraceutical thrown around a lot these days, especially with the rise of all these like natural health products.
Absolutely.
What exactly makes them different from something that's GRAS?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
GRS substances are generally used as ingredients in foods
Right.
or as inactive components of drugs.
Right.
Nutraceuticals, on the other hand, are marketed specifically for their supposed health benefits.
Okay.
The catch is they don't have to go through the same rigorous approval process as pharmaceuticals.
So that natural label doesn't necessarily mean a product has been proven safe or effective.
Exactly, and that's where a lot of the confusion and potential risk lies. Manufacturers can make all sorts of claims about the benefits of their natural products without having to provide the same level of scientific backing as a drug company would.
This is especially relevant now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing more and more products popping up with extracts like cannabinoids and psilocybin mushroom extracts,
Absolutely.
and things like that.
The consumer packaged goods market, or CPG,
Yeah.
is exploding with products that contain these types of natural extracts.
Right.
And while some of these extracts might have, potential benefits,
Right.
the lack of regulation means there's a wide range in quality and safety.
So we've got this interesting situation where a product could contain a substance that's technically GRAS.
Right.
But because it's being marketed as a nutraceutical,
Yeah.
with specific health claims, it falls into a kind of gray area.
Yeah, that's the crux of it.
Okay.
And it's why understanding GRS is so important for consumers. You can't just assume that because something is labeled as natural or because it contains a GRAS ingredient that it's automatically safe.
Right.
Or that it'll do what the label claims.
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
So how do we as consumers start to navigate this complex landscape? I mean, are there any red flags we should be looking out for when we see these kinds of products on the shelves?
Yeah, one of the biggest red flags is a lack of transparency.
Okay.
If a product is making bold claims,
Right.
but doesn't clearly list its ingredients, you know, their concentrations or any scientific evidence to support those claims, that's a major warning sign.
It's like that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Another red flag is when a product claims to cure or treat a serious medical condition, nutraceuticals, even those derived from natural sources, simply aren't subject to the same rigorous testing and approval processes as pharmaceuticals.
Right, exactly.
So any promises of quick fixes or miracle cures should definitely raise some eyebrows.
Absolutely. And remember, natural doesn't automatically equal safe.
Right.
Many substances found in nature can be potent and even harmful if not used properly or if they interact with other medications you might be taking.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, especially when it comes to natural products. We have this this perception that they're inherently safer and gentler than conventional medications.
Right.
But it sounds like that's not always the case.
That's a common misconception that we need to kind of address.
Right.
Natural substances can have just as powerful biological effects as synthetic compounds.
Right.
It's crucial to remember that they can interact with medications, with the other supplements, and even pre-existing health conditions.
So before adding any new product, especially those with natural extracts to our routine, it's essential to talk to our doctor or a qualified healthcare professional, right?
Absolutely.
They can help us assess the risks and benefits and figure out if a particular product is right for us.
That's a great point. They can provide personalized guidance based on your individual health history and needs. They can also help you kind of interpret the scientific research and make informed decisions about what's safe and effective.
It seems like knowledge really is power in this case.
Absolutely.
The more we understand about GRAS, the better equipped we are to make informed choices about the products that we choose.
Exactly. Don't just blindly trust, labels or marketing claims.
Right.
Do your own research.
Right.
Look for evidence-based information from reputable sources. Ask questions.
So it's a combination of doing our homework, but also knowing when to seek expert advice.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
I have.
But it feels like we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to explore.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
And that's why we're going to continue our deep dive into GRS in part 2.
Okay.
We'll delve even deeper into the regulatory landscape, examine some specific case studies, and provide you with even more tools to navigate this complex world of natural product extracts.
I can't wait. Until then, stay curious.
Absolutely.
And keep asking those important questions.
Absolutely. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of GRS.
Yeah.
It's clear that you're really interested in taking control of your health and making informed decisions.
Right.
And that's exactly what we want to empower you to do.
Absolutely.
Something that really struck me in the last part was how certain products, like some herbal teas or even cough drops, really blur the lines between what we think of as food and drugs.
Right, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, it highlights a key point that we've been discussing, which is that the regulatory landscape for substances that we ingest is far more intricate than most people realize.
Right. So how do we as consumers start to make sense of it all? I mean, what are some things we should watch out for when we see products especially those with natural extracts making these bold claims.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest red flags is a lack of scientific evidence to back up those claims.
Okay.
If a product boasts miraculous benefits but doesn't cite any reputable studies or research,
Right.
that's a huge warning sign.
It's like that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly.
Hey.
Another red flag is when a product claims to cure or treat a serious medical condition.
Okay.
Remember, nutraceuticals, even those derived from natural sources,
Right.
they aren't subject to the same rigorous testing and approval processes as pharmaceuticals.
Right. So we should be wary of anything that promises to be a quick fix or a miracle cure.
Absolutely. And always remember that natural doesn't automatically equal safe.
Right.
Many substances found in nature can be potent and even harmful if not used properly.
I think it's easy to get caught up in the hype, especially when it comes to natural products.
Right.
There's this perception that they're inherently safer and gentler
Right.
than conventional medications.
Right. And
But it sounds like that's not always the case.
that's a misconception that we need to address.
Okay.
Natural substances can have, powerful biological effects, just like synthetic compounds, and they can interact with medications, other supplements,
Right.
and even pre-existing health conditions.
So it's crucial to to talk to our doctor or a qualified healthcare professional before adding anything new to our routine.
Right.
Right.
Precisely.
Okay.
They can help you assess the risks and benefits,
Right.
and determine if a particular product is right for you.
Okay, so we've talked about the red flags, but what about the green flags? What are some things that suggest a product might be more trustworthy?
Well, I think a good sign is when a product clearly lists its ingredients,
Okay.
including the specific extracts and their concentrations.
Right.
Transparency is key.
Right, because even if a product contains, a beneficial natural extract, the amount present might be too low
Exact.
to have any real effect.
You're getting it.
Right.
Another positive indicator is when a manufacturer provides information about their quality control processes.
Okay.
Do they follow good manufacturing practices? Do they test their products for purity and potency?
That makes sense, yeah. It's reassuring to know that a company takes quality seriously and is committed to producing safe and effective products.
Right. And of course, always look for products that are backed by scientific evidence. Are there any reputable studies that support the claims being made?
That's where things can get a little tricky.
Sure.
For the average consumer.
Absolutely.
It's not always easy to decipher scientific research.
You're right. That's why it's so important to consult with your doctor or a healthcare professional who can help you interpret the evidence and make informed decisions.
So it's about doing our homework, but also knowing when to seek expert advice.
Exactly.
It's a powerful combination.
And remember, it's an ongoing process.
Right.
The world of natural product extracts is constantly evolving.
Right.
New research is emerging all the time.
Right.
So staying informed is key.
This all makes me think about those products with cannabinoids and psilocybin mushroom extracts that we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
It seems like there's a lot of excitement, but also a lot of uncertainty surrounding those ingredients.
Yeah, you've hit on a really crucial point.
Yeah.
These are substances that have shown potential therapeutic benefits.
Right.
But there's still a lot we don't know about their long-term effects and potential risks.
And because they're often marketed as nutraceuticals,
right.
They're not subject to the same level of scrutiny as pharmaceuticals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That means consumers need to be, extra cautious and do their due diligence before trying these products.
So what kind of questions should we be asking ourselves when we encounter a product containing, a cannabinoid or a psilocybin mushroom extract?
First and foremost, what are the specific claims being made?
Okay.
Are they backed by scientific evidence, or are they just hype? Secondly, what's the source of the extract?
Yeah.
Is it coming from a reputable supplier with high quality control standards?
Those are really important questions to consider.
Yeah.
It's easy to get, swept up in the marketing.
Absolutely.
But we need to be critical thinkers.
Yeah.
And look beyond those flashy labels.
I couldn't agree more.
Right.
We need to remember that our health is precious.
Right.
And we shouldn't take, risks with unproven products.
So while there's a lot of potential in these natural extracts,
Yeah.
it's crucial to proceed with caution and make informed choices.
Absolutely.
We need to be our own advocates
Yeah.
and seek out reliable information.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to equip you to do here today.
Yeah.
We want you to feel empowered to navigate the complexities of the GRAS landscape
Right.
and make decisions that support your well-being.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation so far. I feel like I'm starting to understand the nuances of RES in a way I never have before.
That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet.
Okay.
In part 3, we're going to delve even deeper into specific case studies and explore the future of GRS in the context of this rapidly evolving CPG market.
I can't wait to continue this journey with you.
Me too.
Until then, stay curious and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It's been quite a journey, really.
It has.
Uncovering all the intricacies of GRS. We've explored its regulatory twists and turns, tackled those tricky natural product claims,
Right.
and even ventured into the Wild West of extracts in the CPG market.
The Wild West, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild out there.
It is.
You know, when we started this deep dive,
Yep.
I thought GRS was a pretty black and white concept. A substance is either safe or it isn't. But it turns out there's a lot of gray areas, especially when you consider how GRAS interacts with the world of nutraceuticals.
Yeah.
And those unregulated players in the CPG market.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a real tension between the flexibility that GRAS allows,
Right.
and the need for consumer protection, particularly in a market that's constantly evolving with new ingredients and products emerging all the time.
Thinking back to our discussion about those products with cannabinoids and psilocybin mushroom extracts,
Right.
it seems like those are prime examples of that tension playing out in real time.
Absolutely. Those extracts are creating a whole new set of challenges for regulators and consumers alike.
Right.
On the one hand, there's growing interest in their potential therapeutic benefits.
Right.
But on the other hand, there's still so much we don't know about their long-term effects and how they interact with other substances.
It feels like we're in this transition period where science is trying to catch up with the market, and consumers are left to navigate a lot of uncertainty.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's precisely why understanding GRS is so crucial.
Right.
It's not just about knowing what's safe. It's about understanding the limitations of that designation,
Right.
the potential loopholes and the importance of critical thinking when evaluating product claims.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of GRS,
Yeah.
what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to remember?
I'd say it's this: empower yourself with knowledge.
Okay.
Don't just blindly trust labels or marketing hype, especially when it comes to products containing natural extracts.
Right.
Do your research.
Okay.
Ask questions.
Okay.
And when in doubt, consult with a qualified healthcare professional.
Right.
Your health is your most valuable asset. Protect it wisely.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our GRAS deep dive. We hope you found it enlightening.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit empowering.
Absolutely.
Remember, keep learning, keep questioning,
Yeah.
and stay curious.
Stay curious.
We'll catch you in our next deep dive.
Sounds good.